In 2012, 2013, the courts allowed genetic modified organisms for people to be able to make life and to get patents, and they did this for profit.
We've never had food companies this powerful in our history.
Everything we've done in modern agriculture is to grow it faster, fatter, bigger, cheaper.
If you could grow a chicken in 49 days, why would you want one you got to grow in 3 months?
When you go through the supermarket, there is an illusion of diversity. So much of our industrial food turns out to be rearrangements of corn.
Genetically modified corn and foods are everywhere in our society.
Genetic engineering is really a radical revolution in food production. It's really a cell invasion technology. You know, people have heard they're taking a flounder gene and putting it in tomato so the tomato can last in cold temperatures. But people don't ask, how does that flounder gene get in that tomato? How does it get in there?
Patents historically have been for things like, I've used the example of a carburetor. Well, a carburetor doesn't get up one day and start replicating itself everywhere and introducing itself into your car, so that all of a sudden then you get sued for patent infringement.
Monsanto went on my land that I farm without my knowledge, without my permission, and took plants or seeds and said some of that was Monsanto's Roundup Ready canola. In August the 6th of 1998, they launched a lawsuit against me.
Lawsuits are rampant for this genetically modified foods. And people don't really know what they're eating or what they're getting because we don't know the long-term effects of genetic modification on our diet. And our children are becoming the lab rats in the big experiment.
I think this is probably the largest biological experiment humanity has ever entered into.
Now there's a debate as to whether the coronavirus is man-made or natural.
Hi, my name's Nick. I'm a PhD student in molecular medicine, and in this piece of content, I'm going to briefly answer if it is possible that coronavirus, or COVID-19, is a man-made virus based on a recent review published in Nature. And that's a highly reputable biology journal, not Trees.
Most of the evidence points to it being natural, but we don't really know for sure. We don't really know just where it came from.
Could have also escaped from a lab. Some of the coronaviruses are studied in biosafety level 2 laboratories, which is not the strictest biosafety we scientists use. And there have been cases where viruses have escaped. It is possible, although unlikely, that this virus could have mutated over and over in a laboratory and then infected or escaped from the lab. So, is this foolproof evidence? No. However, it is biochemically and genetically backed evidence that creates a strong line of evidence that this virus is not man-made. And if it were, whoever made it sucks at making biological weapons.
Sucks at making biological weapons? Well, that's just not real proof there, Nick. You see, it could very well be that some amateur, or perhaps somebody who was trying to warn society, is making this. Genetic modification of viruses is becoming commonplace.
People who have been fucked by the system are now trying ways to unfuck themselves.
Here in this downtown Oakland community center, over 100 citizen scientists gathered for the Biohack the Planet conference. Many of them have set up labs in garages and don't have any formal degree whatsoever.
The stigma of smart people and science is invented. Science works no matter who you are.
Instead of breaking into and manipulating computer systems like typical hackers, they're focused on hacking living organisms, with the hopes of curing illness and in some cases obtaining superhuman powers. Their shared mission is to put this technology into the hands of as many people as possible.
Personalized medicine is going to change everything. It's going to rock the world because you can't do a clinical trial on one person. But medicine is starting to progress to the point where I can sequence your genome, I can sequence your cancer's genome, I can find the difference, I can develop an immunotherapy so that I can get your body to respond to your cancer specifically, not anybody else's cancer. But I also can't test that on anybody but you. That's going to be crazy, and that's going to be awesome.
These do-it-yourself biologists say the democratization of science has given them the freedom to work on projects that are often ignored by larger institutions. They're using gene editing technologies like CRISPR to create personalized treatments for those suffering from rare diseases or cancer.
The FDA is trying to stop them from experimenting on animals. And basically, these untrained professionals that are unqualified and unsupervised create a problem, and they can be creating different viruses. They might be behind the corona, but they definitely 100% can be behind a possible future devastating, incredibly disturbing challenge. A virus might be made in the laboratory of some crazy kook that could kill half of the world's population. Bill Gates talked about a warning. Well, let's look again what he said.
And the Ebola epidemic showed me that we're not ready for a serious epidemic, an epidemic that would be more infectious and would spread faster than Ebola did. This is the greatest risk of a huge tragedy. This is the most likely thing by far to kill over 10 million excess people in a year. We don't need to invest nearly what we do in military preparedness. This is something where less than $1 billion a year on R&D, medical surveillance, standby personnel, cross-training the military so they can play a role in terms of all the logistics here. This can be done, and we may not get many more warnings like this one to say, okay, it's a pretty modest investment to avoid something that really, in terms of the human condition, would be a gigantic setback.
Well, Bill Gates actually funded the people who made a patent on this virus. He's been doing congresses and meetings about what to do in case of the corona hurting people. And he actually has been planning on a vaccine. Could it be that Bill actually is giving us a warning, throwing a warning shot over the bow to help society? Could the corona be made in the laboratory by some rich guy giving this a warning?
Everybody's arguing about GMOs. When you change plants and animals' genetic code, they do it to remove or add a certain trait, tomatoes that won't rot, drought-resistant grain.
You could do it by adding or deleting DNA. The species that you use don't even have to be the same. It's transgenic, people panic when they hear the fish genes are added to strawberries to help them not to freeze.
But can GMOs help with the crisis mounting? It's a challenge to feed 7 billion and counting. Droughts and food prices are causing world hunger. So what's the big deal if we make the crop stronger?
But with GMOs, you can patent the breeds and sue the farmers if they replant the seeds. The idea's to help developing nations, but who benefits? Communities and corporations. GMO, there's a lot that we don't know about the food we grow. What does it do to our bodies? What does it do to our souls? OMG, there's a panic in the streets. It was right over diet. Are we thinking clearly?
GMO. There are also ecological risks involved. You can make a new problem like the one you just solved, like corn that's spread with a built-in pesticide. The pests evolved and now superbugs thrive.
Is it bad for us? It depends on the crop. Sometimes it's more nutritious, sometimes it's not. And while the pesticides don't sound very sweet, the EPA assures us that they're safe to eat.
But people should know how their food is grown, yet Americans don't label GMOs. There are many different kinds of GM foods. Just saying made with GMOs might not do.
They have managed to make it against the law to criticize their products.
There is an effort to make it illegal to publish a photo of any industrial food operation.
I find it incredible that the FDA wants to allow the sale of meat from cloned animals without any labeling.
Peanut butter contaminated with salmonella.
E. coli has been found in spinach, apple juice.
Smells like money to me.
The average consumer does not feel very powerful. It's the exact opposite. When we run an item past the supermarket scanner, we're voting for local or not, organic or not.
Yes, we do have to use the power of our economy, what we buy, what we don't buy, how we tell people what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. We have to recognize that there is indeed a possibility of an incredible virus that might destroy humanity.
The world is shaped by those who ask questions. Like, what if the Earth wasn't flat? What if light could shine after the sun went down? What if we could fly to other planets, to other worlds? What if we could bring about change without violence?
This nation was founded on the principle that all men are created equal.
What if our voices could travel farther than we thought? our ideas,
Scientific progress, technology, goes much further than anyone ever dreamed.
our humanity. The questions we pose today will define our tomorrow. And so we ask, what if your gender didn't limit how high you could climb? What if jobs worked for us as hard as we worked for our jobs? What if technology could ignite more opportunity for more people? How would that change the way we work for our future? What if we could create a more inclusive economy, society, world?
What if humanity decided to work on its immune system and end the domination of big sugar, big tobacco, big oil, and the evil ultra-rich? What if we decided that we would work on our immune systems and get prepared for the next virus and save humanity?